station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
It is the most important election of my lifetime.
11 days left to cast your ballot by mail or in person. Good evening to you at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins. Local organizations are working hard to make sure every Hoosier can cast their ballot either early or on Election Day. Tonight, WRTV's Cameron Riddle introduces you to a group providing free rides to the polls.
Souls to the Polls was born out of fear in light of what the federal government was doing from the top down about mail-in ballots, actually dismantling machines.
With the election still looming, several churches, city county councilors, and the Indianapolis Urban League banded together to create Souls to the Polls, a shuttle service that transports Marion County residents from a church near their home to the city-county building to vote early and in person. Dr. Clyde Posley says the majority of the people they are driving to the polls originally had plans to vote by mail.
They don't trust the process. That it was ever tampered with at all has sent shockwaves and fear through most of the people that I know who traditionally use mail-in voting.
Souls to the Polls has already transported hundreds of Hoosiers to vote in the first 2 weeks of October. Lakeisha Brown has been driving one of the 9 shuttle buses and says passengers are happy with how easy it is to go vote.
The convenience of being picked up right there in their neighborhood and not having to deal with parking.
22-year-old Jakaria Posley has already taken advantage of the free rides. She says not getting her vote counted is not an option this year.
You can't just sit here and watch everything happen and not feel some type of urge to go vote.
With so much on the line, Tracy Boyd says the churches are working overtime to overcome any excuse that would keep any soul from the polls.
We've eliminated parking. We've eliminated challenges of gas or car trouble. We sanitize the buses before and after each ride. We've provided snacks. There's a bus monitor.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Souls to the Polls is running every Saturday and Sunday. The number to call to catch a ride is 317-821-7539, or you can call 802-951-4157. You can find those numbers at WRTV.com. Souls to the Polls is also offering rides to the Marion County early voting sites that open for the first time tomorrow. Those locations at Cranert Park Community Center, Lawrence Township Education and Community Center, Perry Township Government Center, St. Luke's United Methodist Church, and Warren Township Government Center. They're each open to voters from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow and Sunday. Weekday hours at those sites are 11 to 7. You can still vote early at the City County building every day leading up to Election Day. Starting Monday, extra steps will be taken to make sure absentee ballots across the Hoosier State are delivered on time. Today, the Greater Indiana Postal Service said that officials are taking extraordinary measures to make sure your vote counts. The district manager says the Postal Service is well equipped to handle increases in volume, and election mail is getting priority treatment.
All hands on deck. Extra trips, extra collections, whatever it takes to make sure that we get the voters' ballots home, we're taking those necessary steps. With the machinery and the employees that we have now, we are absolutely capable of handling this volume. We are not even close to exceeding our capacity.
The Postal Service is making one request. Voters are asked to mail completed absentee ballots as soon as possible. They must be delivered to election officials by noon on Election Day. Now to the forecast here on a Friday. Storms have moved on and a big cool down has moved in. WRTV Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is helping you prepare for the weekend. Kevin.
And prepare by grabbing a jacket, right? Temperatures cool all weekend long, and you'll see the pattern in the 7-day forecast. The rain is ending. There may be still some very light showers out there, but certainly any thunderstorms long gone. It stays windy, and it's now a cold wind across central Indiana. Temperatures during the day tomorrow will respond very little to some sunshine. There's the dry radar just to confirm what we talked about. 20 to 25 degrees colder than 24 hours ago. Temperature sits at 50 in Muncie while it's 44 in Bloomington. And if skies were clear and the air weren't as moist, temperatures would be even cooler. But we'll go down to about 42 tomorrow morning. Temperature by 1 o'clock in the afternoon pushing 50. The lower 50s is about the best we can do. We'll talk about our next opportunity for widespread rain. We won't have to wait that long. Details ahead.
The COVID-19 positivity rate in Indiana is now at 13%. That's the 7-day rate among unique individuals. That percentage has steadily climbed in recent days. 2,519 new positive cases were reported between Tuesday and yesterday, and 3,858 deaths across the state are blamed on COVID since the start of the pandemic. Earlier this week, the State Department of Health said 58% of those who died were in long-term care facilities. Some families say finding a facility that will accept their loved one with COVID-19 has been a frustrating and difficult process. Tracy Pelton's 92-year-old mother, Dolores, had a stroke in September and needed rehab and therapy. Dolores went to the Barrington, a long-term care facility in Carmel. Tracy was concerned when the facility emailed her that staff members had tested positive in Dolores's unit. The Barrington tested Dolores, and while the results were pending, Dolores's feeding tube got blocked and she had to go to the hospital. But Tracy hit a roadblock as her mom got better. The facility where Dolores likely got the virus wasn't able to accept her. WRTV Investigates reached out to the Barrington, who told us they do accept COVID-19 patients, but only if a bed is available in their active COVID-19 unit.
That's been the biggest problem. Nobody will take her. I spent the last 3.5 days calling everyone in the state, trying to find some place for my mother to go. Our goal is to get her healthy enough to come back home.
The Barrington could not comment on individual circumstances, but told us, quote, "From the onset of the pandemic, we have worked diligently to keep our residents, their families, and other stakeholders well informed, often exceeding the reporting and communication requirements of the Indiana State Department of Health and other regulatory agencies." State records show Barrington has 13 staff members test positive and 11 positive cases among residents. WRTV Investigates connected Tracy with several resources to help her find a long-term place to take care of her mom. Here are some resources for you if you are having issues surrounding nursing homes. You can call or email the State Department of Health at familyoutreach@isdh.in.gov or complaints@isdh.in.gov. The number is 317-233-7176. The Indiana Healthcare Association and Leading Age, which represent nursing homes and other resources. You can also reach out to the state's long-term care ombudsman and AARP Indiana. If you're considering becoming a police officer, Kokomo officials hope you'll consider their department. The mayor recently released a recruiting commercial saying he's working to get Kokomo PD up to appropriate staffing levels. He also wants to increase officer pay by 20% over the next few years. The police chief says the changes will benefit the department, which will benefit the community. And officers say the job on its own, it's its own reward.
What the community is going to see is better response time. With an increase in morale of the officers comes an improved quality of service.
It's not tough being a policeman, okay? When you're born with a servant's heart, when regardless of what's going on, it doesn't matter what kind of volcanoes that's going off, you have a servant's heart. You want to serve, you want to protect, you know?
The mayor says the city budget covers 14 officer salaries. Grants will pay for an additional 10 officers. If you're interested in applying, go to WRTV.com and click on this story. Today, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett signed a proposal that will give citizens a bigger voice when it comes to IMPD policies and procedures. Proposal 237 adds 4 civilians to the General Orders Board, which is currently made up of 3 members of law enforcement. The City County Council approved the proposal last week by a 19-6 vote. 2 of the civilians will be chosen by the council and 2 by the mayor. WRTV is working to learn what that selection process will involve. An investigation into a racist incident at Brown County High School has led to the suspension of a staff member. We told you last week a page of the school's yearbook identified a black student as, quote, black guy. Officials with Brown County Schools say they believe the content was created by the yearbook faculty advisor. No students were involved. The advisor will no longer serve in that role, and he is suspended without pay for 2 weeks. District leaders say they continue to have meaningful conversations with students, families, and members of the community to make sure something like this never happens again. A new art gallery inspired in part by calls for racial justice opened recently in Indianapolis near Keystone and 52nd. 76 Trillion Years of Soul features pieces focused on the black experience. And one of the gallery's organizers tells WRTV he wants people to feel something when they view the art.
Seeing quotes and you're seeing pictures and you're seeing sayings and rap lyrics, it just feels like something that's for us. And it's not just for Black people by any means. I think it's for everybody.
To check out this art gallery, you can send a message on social media to set up a private showing. The creative arts industry is among the many industries struggling to stay afloat during these tough times, but performers are not calling it quits. Tonight, the Arts Council of Indianapolis hosted a virtual fundraiser. Council President and CEO Julie Goodman says the arts and cultural institutions contribute to the community in many ways.
Before the pandemic, Indie Arts and Culture was contributing $440 million annually in economic impact. We represent 30,000 jobs in our community, and we serve about 8 million residents and visitors every year. So it is significant in terms of our role as an employer, our role as a contributor to our economy, from an economic impact perspective, and also just our quality of life and our civic identity.
Money raised tonight will go toward grants to help local organizations. The fundraiser was about more than that. Actor Emmanuel Carter, who grew up in Indianapolis, emceed the event. He says virtual shows also encourage artists and cultural groups to continue creating.
The pandemic has brought out even more creativity in a lot of these people. Like, hey, if I can't do it this way, then I'll do it this way. I'll show it virtually. We'll rent out a shipping container and have a show out of that. We'll go to an alley and play music there for people to come watch.
For more information about the Arts Council of Indianapolis, go to indyarts.org. Coming up, a little rain and wind won't stop high school football players from taking the field, especially this week as the postseason gets underway. And next,
Santa is safe, and he's been in quarantine at the North Pole.
But he'll still be busy communicating with kids before Christmas. How a new website will bring Santa to you.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Halloween is next weekend, but Santa's helpers are already getting ready for Christmas. Like many workplaces, the North Pole is going virtual this year. Scripps reporter Chloe Norquist shows how.
There's giggles and grins and Christmas cheer and lots of fun when you are here. So come on down.
Welcome to the home of Santa KJ and Mrs. Claus.
The children ask me, what's my favorite cookie? Well, I like the round ones.
Everyone has a childhood memory of visiting Santa.
There's nothing better than leaning down and getting that hug from the 5-year-old that comes running. And so we're going to miss that.
Due to COVID-19 and social distancing guidelines, home visits, hugs, and photos on Santa's lap might be non-existent this year. Santa KJ and his wife already had the virus once.
We caught it in July and got it together. It gives you a different perspective on what the year is going to be like, and children need to be protected. We need to be protected.
Which begs the question, how will Santa spread holiday cheer from a distance? It will take a little more lights, camera, and action.
Ow! Every time gets my nose. I'm here to welcome you to story time.
This is Susan Mesko, founder of the Professional Santa Claus School, also known as...
My name is Holly. I'm Santa's granddaughter.
Along with a list of helpers, over 100 of them, she's been putting together a project to keep the holiday cheer alive this winter.
We've been filming and working on it since mid-April. We've put a lot into this.
Susan has been training Santa Claus and his team since the 1980s. She was recently inducted into the International Santa Claus Hall of Fame, but this was something new.
We've really poured our hearts into this, and we're so proud of what we've come up with.
She's not going to let the Grinch steal Christmas this year, working around the clock to build a website filled with hours of videos and family fun.
Learning and singing and sharing and doing crafts and making cookies and learning hot cocoa recipes and seeing Santa's fire engine.
The list goes on.
The trend in the industry has gone to the virtual side.
Santa is getting ready to visit you virtually.
But the cost of Christmas cheer wasn't free for Susan.
We realized that it was going to be enormously expensive to put together something of the magnitude of what we wanted to give the children a 4-layered program. So I did mortgage my house, and I do believe in the people that I'm working with, and I really believe in this product.
A product filled with Santa's stories, sing-alongs, activities, and virtual live visits.
My day begins usually around 6 a.m. and ends around 4 a.m. We are doing editing and polishing and the final touches.
All set to launch on November 1st.
Guess what Mrs. Claus has been doing?
It's going to be back to the way we knew it before and also have the video option in the future too.
While his helpers take precautions, Santa is too.
Santa is safe, and he's been in quarantine at the North Pole. So the children can be absolutely sure that on Christmas Eve, that if they are in bed sleeping, that Santa will come to their house. I want you to have a wonderful Christmas.
I'm Chloe Nordquist reporting.
And we're already starting to see some snow to get people right in the spirit for Santa preparing for his visits, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I say in Minneapolis, portions of Colorado,
they got a
and
lot
the
of it, yeah.
Yeah, they're thinking that Christmas is going to be way too late. Winter will be, I don't know what I'm saying right now. Let's talk about rain in Indiana. It was the lack of rainfall for 57 days that set a record, 0.12 of an inch. That was our total for September, but look at this. And this is still a work in progress. Just about 4 inches of rain so far this month, with more on the way. Not for the weekend, though. You'll have a dry weekend. 76 in Lafayette, 77 in Indianapolis, and 80 degrees in Terre Haute for the high temperature today. We're 31 degrees cooler than that right now. Indianapolis is at 46. Temperature a little warmer in Muncie. 63 is the average temperature this time of the year. We'll be nowhere near that. For the next week, highs will be in the 50s, pretty consistently low to occasionally mid-50s. That'll set the stage for some cold overnight temperatures as well. Tomorrow, if you want to get out and move some leaves around, the wind will help you. That wind will be north 10 to 20, 53, so we dry out the leaves tomorrow. They stay dry on Sunday, temperature of 56, but our rain chances will increase Sunday night with the best chance for our next widespread rain coming on Monday. It's a cool wind tomorrow, still relatively strong, not quite as strong as what we had today, but a northeast wind 10 to 20. Temperature by noon tomorrow, 46 degrees. Afternoon temperature in the lower 50s, again with that mixture of clouds and sunshine. Saturday highs range from about 50 to the mid 50s, maybe a degree or two above that. What's different on Sunday? Temperatures will start colder. Tomorrow night into Sunday morning, we'll have more clear skies and allow the temperature to drop into the upper 30s. Temperature at 54 during the afternoon hours, with clouds increasing throughout the day. That'll begin to set the stage then for the rain on Monday. There are your temperatures Sunday as we round out the weekend, about 54 or 55. Monday, rain around, maybe a rumble of thunder, but definitely staying on the cool side, 55. As you can see, Tuesday, 51. That's the coolest high temperature of the week. Back to 56 on Wednesday. 7-day forecast put it all together for you. 39 degrees starts the 2 mornings in a row that will be in the 30s. Will be that's on the Tuesday morning. Wednesday at 35. And again, rain likely Monday, still that chance Tuesday, and then next Thursday, once it starts to rain, we can't get it to stop. Mark?
Well, Kevin, the weather certainly turned quickly into fall today and tonight. Not the best conditions necessarily for football, but something different is in the air with the start of sectionals. Brad Brown starts our high school football Week 10 coverage.
Good evening, everyone. It is the start of Indiana's high school football state tournament tonight. Quite the season it has been, an amazing feat by players, coaches, and communities all over Indiana just to get past the first 9 weeks of the regular season. Now the focus, though, is on earning a trip to Lucas Oil Stadium Thanksgiving weekend and the IHSAA state finals. Here's a look at how the tourney trail goes as we'll begin with sectionals in classes 1 through 4A tonight. 5A and 6A will open their 4-team sectionals next Friday. The tourney trail remains the same. 4 or 5 wins get you to the finals, with regionals and semi-state rounds along the way. Dave Merritt has a look at some Week 10 action in the opening round of the football sectionals.
Crispus Attucks hosting Roncalli tonight. A wet and cold field, but that wouldn't stop Roncalli from moving the ball. Their opening drive, Aiden Leffler to Kyle Lockard with the big gain. That would set up Leffler with the keeper for the touchdown. and a 6-0 Roncalli lead. But Addicts would put a drive together that would end as Kamani Hall takes it in for the touchdown, and this game is tied at 6. But we wouldn't stay tied for long. Leffler finds Nick Stewart. Stewart turns on the speed and takes it the rest of the way for the touchdown. Roncalli would go on to win 52-6. Just down the street, Speedway hosting Western Boone. The Stars with a 12-3 halftime lead, and they would add to that late in the third quarter. Elliott Young finds Clayton Haysong with the great grab here for the 19-3 lead. Then in the fourth quarter, Robbie Taylor pounding the dirt, finds the end zone. Western Boone with the road win tonight, 25-3 over Speedway. Dave Marin, WRTV Sports.
There was one game in Class 5A tonight. Decatur Central going on the road and defeating Terre Haute North 27-7. It's the 7th win of the season for the Hawks. They advance to the sectional semifinals where they'll host Plainfield next Friday night.
This is the first full weekend of the Big Ten's 2020 football schedule. Here's a look at Saturday's games. Indiana and Purdue are both at home. The Hoosiers taking on Penn State. The Boilermakers will face Iowa. We will have Michigan at Minnesota as our primetime game on WRTV. That one starts Saturday night at 7:30. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
You've likely seen a lot of election coverage on other states and may be confused about different rules for voters. Our partners at Newsy are getting expert answers from experts.
Why are voting laws different in each state?
We have federalism, and federalism is a beautiful thing, and it means that you have 50 different election systems across the country.
Because our founders could not agree on that division of power between what the federal government could do and what states could do, voting becomes one of the key areas where states retain their power.
The variety of election laws across the country comes with both positives and negatives.
The good things is it makes it harder for outside forces to break into our election systems because they are so local and independent. But on the bad side, it means that every state and in some cases jurisdictions within states run things quite differently.
And it's up to voters to make sure they're familiar with their own local election rules.
The good news is there are an almost infinite number of places online to go and figure it out.
Stephanie Liebergen, Newsy, Miami.
One helpful resource is the Vote in 2020 section of our website, WRTV.com. There you can find key dates and deadlines, your polling location, information about the candidates on your ballot, and much more.
Cool now. Just step outside and you'll realize that. Temperatures tomorrow with that northeast wind will feel cooler than the predicted temperature in the lower 50s. Tomorrow is dry. We get a chance to dry out. We thought we'd never have to say that after that 50, 60-day stretch, Brian, or Mark.
It has been quite the wet week, right? We leave you now with this beautiful shot of the Circle City. Have a great evening and a safe weekend, everybody.